This is Matt Hurt at Obsessive Viewer on Twitter.
This is Tiny at Obsessive Tiny on the Twitters.
And this is ObsessiveViewer.com's The Obsessive Viewer Podcast. Hello and welcome to The Obsessive Viewer. We're a weekly movie and TV podcast that covers a specific topic, be it genre, trope, movie, or show, each episode. You can find more of our work at ObsessiveViewer.com and find more of our podcasting at ObsessiveViewer.com/podcasts. You can also like us on Facebook and join the Facebook group at Facebook.com/TheObsessiveViewer. And before we begin, we have a couple of announcements real quick. Of course, as always, this episode of the podcast is sponsored by Horror Movie Yearbook, which you can find at HM Yearbook on Twitter and at horrormovieyearbook.com. It is a great podcast that takes several different horror movies from a specific year and reviews and contextualizes them and compares them against the pop culture and current events of the year of release. Each year they do a year in review episode where they talk about the horror movies of the year. So they just recently did their, they call it the Class of 2017, which just basically a breakdown of the top horror movies of 2017. So go ahead and check that at HM Yearbook on Twitter and at horrormovieyearbook.com. And thank you to Horror Movie Yearbook and the Midwest Podcast Network for sponsoring this week's episode. And then the other piece of news is, Tiny, did you listen to Mike's new song?
No, I haven't listened to it. I literally have not had a chance.
Interesting. Well, I don't mean to put you on blast here, but
You are, as the kids say.
right. Okay, so our friend and co-host who's on sabbatical, Mike White, he and his band, As Good As It Gets, just released their first single from a new album that they're working on that's going to be released in March. You can find links to all that in the show notes. I might play like a little clip at the end of this episode. I'm not sure yet. But yeah, super proud of him. Like, I posted on the Facebook page that, like, I personally have known Mike for about 13 years now. And, like, I'm never not excited when he releases new music because he is a very talented musician. And I'm really excited to see him do more musical things.
He is talented.
He is. Oh, yes. So check that out. They have a Bandcamp page. It's As Good As It Gets is the name of the band. And yeah, you can find links in the show notes. So Tiny, how's it going?
Soy bueno, senor.
That's sort of racist.
No.
I don't think that's that
I'm
racist.
celebrating Hispanic culture.
Yeah, there you go.
By using their language.
Nice. Anyway, so we just finished recording an episode of Tower Junkies, which is our other podcast. And yeah, I'm going to say the same thing that I said on that one, but you did some turn into 31.
I did. I done turned 31.
Nice. And
31.
You did what now?
31.
Oh, God.
It's 30. I think that's right.
Good job.
I don't even know.
Wow.
It's been a while since high school Spanish.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
I'm trying to branch out our demographics.
Oh, that's good. That's good. I'm always up for getting more listeners.
Word.
Anyway, so I have something to give you.
Oh.
Yeah.
You got me a birthday present?
I did.
I love the wrapping.
Oh, yeah. It's just a Target bag.
Yeah, that's... I'm not sure you've ever... Yeah, you give me a gift that wasn't just in a store bag before.
But and
this
I have
is kind of your MO.
It is, and I have a funny story about that too. But I'll talk about that after you
okay.
open it and stuff. Yeah.
It's a DVD or Blu-ray. Oh, it's Blade Runner 2049.
It is
nice.
Yes,
thank you.
Which is funny for a couple of reasons. One, I sent you a message the other day saying, please don't buy or rent Blade Runner 2049.
You did.
So I feel like maybe that might have lessened the surprise a little bit.
Well, I thought you bought it and were going to let me borrow it.
Oh, well, it's funny you should say that because I did buy it.
Okay.
And I actually rewatched it last night, and it's...
Nice.
Man, that movie's so good.
I can't wait to see it.
Yeah, and it's funny because, like, it is classic Matt Hurt that me giving a gift to someone is basically me forcing them to watch my number one movie of the year.
Yeah, that's also your MO.
I kind of made it about me. But anyway, congrats on turning 31.
Thank you.
Living for 31 years.
I have been alive for 31 years.
Yeah, good job. But honestly, I am very excited for you to watch this movie because it's Man, I think you're gonna really love it, just because, okay, yeah. So the backstory. I was originally going to surprise you and order it on Amazon and have it just shipped to your house.
Okay.
And I actually put in the order and I paid for gift wrapping and stuff with a little note on it. Like the note was gonna say, Tiny, I was listening to our year in review episode and just hearing you talk about how much you wanted to see or how much you wish you would have seen it or anything. I was like, you definitely need to see this movie because you're going to love it. And then I was very proud of it because at the end of it, I put Happy Bidet, Matt. And,
nice.
But for some reason, Amazon was like, we're not gonna ship it until January 22nd.
Oh, that's weak.
And I'm like, yeah. And I'm like, that's weird.
You have Prime, right?
Yeah, I do. And that's the thing. Like,
That's
I
not
have
cool.
Prime. And then, so basically Monday, it came out on Tuesday. Monday was Martin Luther King Day. Tuesday was your birthday. I had Tuesday off from work to go and run errands in Avon. So I was like, you know what? Fuck it. I'm just going to cancel these orders because I had also ordered mine as well, my copy. So I'm like, I'm going to be in Avon and out and about anyway. I'm just going to go to Target and buy it for the same damn price.
Nice.
So that's why you don't get nice wrapping and stuff.
No,
but
that's fine.
on the other hand, I did get to watch my copy yesterday, so I'm all
Nice.
happy about that.
I'm hoping to get to this weekend then.
Nice. Well, I am looking forward to hearing what you think about it. I did also, probably about a week or so ago, I did buy Blade Runner: The Final Cut, if you want to borrow that.
Ooh, I might need to do that.
Nice. Okay.
Because I think Paige wants to see this too, and she's never seen the original.
Oh, yeah? Nice.
Yeah, I don't know if she wants to see that or not.
Nice. Yeah, I had ran into her, and then I was like, you know, I actually have Tiny's present in the car. Do you just want to give it to him? She's like, no, if you guys are recording tomorrow. I'm like, okay. And
Nice.
then she's like, oh yeah, well, I'll see you later. And she said something about your present. And then I was like, oh yeah, it's Blade Runner 2049. And
Nice.
she's like, oh, that's good. He hasn't seen it yet. I was like, I know, that's kind of why I got it for him.
Aw.
Yeah. So yeah.
Thanks, buddy.
Nah, no problem. You're welcome. Yeah. So that kind of brings us into our episode.
Yes.
Do you have anything for me? Like anything?
My thanks.
Oh, good.
Yes.
I do keep forgetting to tell you thank you for the Christmas card, by the way.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
of course.
I've got it hanging up on my fridge.
Was all Paige.
Yep.
Yeah. I mean, I'm in the picture.
Right. I was gonna be thinking like, no, you're in the picture too. And there's a picture of me and you, and then there's pictures.
Yeah.
Yeah. So anyway, yeah, and I did thank her when I saw her last night. So
Okay,
that's
cool.
good. Anyway, so yeah, so this week we're doing extended potpourri. Now, I am going to go ahead and say it. I am having a pretty killer January as far as movies watched
Nice.
is concerned. So I actually have a ton of stuff that I can bring up, and I have it separated into different sections. I had Tiny give me a list of his things. So I think the order that I'm going to go in is I'm going to do two up front, and then, well, yeah, we'll figure it. Yeah. Do you mind if I get it kicked off?
Go ahead.
Okay, so I have two things up front. One is going to be kind of brief. So this week, I think, was the Television Critics Association panels and the TCAs or whatever they are. A lot of like TV like networks announce stuff, and it's where a lot of announcements happen. So something kind of interesting. I didn't read too much about it, but recently, within the last probably 5 days, Hulu had their stage time or whatever, and they announced, they were like, oh hey, you know, the entire series of ER is going to be on Hulu right now.
Nice.
And so now all 15 seasons, some like 330 episodes
Crap.
of ER are now available on Hulu.
Wow.
Yeah. So, for those who don't know, for all of my stuff, I have the synopsis. ER was a show from the 1990s. It ran from 94 to 2009. 15 seasons. It's the lives, loves, and losses of the doctors and nurses of Chicago's County General Hospital. And I have watched like 6 episodes of the first season.
Nice.
A couple things about it. One is, it's interesting because the actual aspect ratio, it's in like anamorphic widescreen. So,
okay. It's a little goofy.
yeah, well, it's not, that's the weird thing because it's like, it fits the TV screen and everything because it's widescreen, but it was shot in 4:3, I think, like the kind of more square box thing. So I think for the DVD sets they had enhanced it to be widescreen. But it doesn't look bad to me. It doesn't distract or anything.
So the black bars are on the sides, not the top and bottom?
No, they're not anywhere. It's just
really? Okay.
Yeah, it's just. I mean, if you're watching, it would be on the top and bottom, but like a widescreen, it's just widescreen.
Okay, interesting.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, so it doesn't detract from it or anything. It looks good, but couple of things about it though. So I started watching this while I was on a pseudo vacation for like I had scheduled time off on Tuesday, and I had Monday off for Martin Luther King Day. Then I had Saturday and Sunday off as well. And then Friday I actually called in because I thought I was very concerned that I was getting strep throat because I couldn't really talk. And being in a call center can't really do anything if you can't talk.
True.
But that cleared up in the afternoon after I slept all day. But anyway, so I had like 5 days off, and like having that much time off and then watching a show that is about people in their workplace in like the most stressful environment imaginable.
Yeah.
Like I felt kind of anxious. I was like, cause I was sitting there literally thinking like, how the fuck can anyone do this? Like,
I know.
Why does anyone, like, I don't understand the world. Like, I can't understand what kind of mind and body it takes to do the things that like doctors and like in an emergency room or, anyone in the medical profession.
Surgeons.
Can do. Yes. Like
surgeons blow me away.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
You slice people up for a living. That blows me away. Yeah.
It was funny because one of the first episodes, it might actually be the pilot episode, which ER is really great because it's created by Michael Crichton, who I didn't read. I think it was based on a book, but he had written the original pilot as a movie. And so the movie, the pilot episode's actually like an hour and a half long. It's like feature length. And he originally wrote it as a movie, and then Steven Spielberg was going to direct it.
Wow.
Yeah, but then they got, it turned into a TV show, and then Steven Spielberg ended up doing Jurassic Park instead.
That's funny.
Which is pretty interesting.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's a moment in the first episode, or one of the first episodes, where Dr. Green, played by Anthony Edwards, is he's approached by someone, and he's offered a job at like a private practice, and like the juxtaposition of seeing him like being interviewed for the position, or like he's basically appeasing his wife because he doesn't want to leave or anything. I'm just like, why wouldn't you? Like, it's a quiet office. People aren't screaming.
Yeah.
People aren't dying. It's like, I don't understand that world. But yeah, I'm actually like, on the flip side of that is that I work from home, and part of my job is I talk on the phone all day. And if calls aren't coming in, I have a little bit of downtime. So what I do, since I work from home, is I have a little, bar stool that I have my laptop on, and I'll just have like Hulu playing in the background, and like when a call comes in, I'll press pause and then take the call and everything. So throughout the day, I'll kind of watch like a movie or show eventually in its entirety, but in snippets. And like, it's kind of funny because like the mental, it's weird because it puts into context my job, like, because I'm seeing like the dramatic depiction of people that are like literally life and death scenarios and everything. And then I'm just having people yell at me about life insurance. I'm like, it's not that difficult.
Yeah.
So it's definitely kind of nice. It gave me a new lease on my job in a call center.
I get that.
Yeah.
I've actually watched a lot of ER.
I was just going to ask, like, what's your connection to ER? Because I watched a little, like, it's ER giving our, like, we're both 31 now. And like, it came out in the 90s. And like, I feel like given our age, and the our age and the age of the show, ER is like one of those quintessential like parent shows. Like,
yes,
our parents loved it.
Yes.
Yeah.
And my parents especially loved it. My mom is a nurse.
Oh yeah.
And so at the time, she was working as a nurse, and so like she was very involved in it. She loved the accuracy of it because of her job and everything. And then my dad just, liked the characters and everything. But yeah, I ended up watching like I've seen a lot of ER. I wouldn't say I've seen a lot of episodes, but I remember like a lot of scenes and a lot of like dramatic moments from it, but I can't think of like major episodes or storylines or anything like that. But I have some really fond memories of ER. I think I don't know why I know this or why I remember this, but an episode of ER is the first like movie or TV show or book or anything that I remember like bringing me to tears.
Oh, really?
When I was like probably 8 or 9 years old.
Wow.
And I think that there was like a father on the show and his daughter died. And it just like crushed me. And I don't know why. I was like, I don't have a daughter. I don't know why is it? No, but I was just a kid, and for whatever, it was like so good that I like teared up.
Interesting.
Yeah. So
wow.
I might. Man, I wish I had Hulu.
Yeah.
I'd watch some of it, but yeah.
Yeah. And honestly, this kind of leads to an interesting conversation. Also, for kind of posterity's sake, I guess. I watched a bit of ER myself when I was a kid, and it was never really like something that I latched onto or anything. There were pivotal moments in the series that I do remember. Like there's a stabbing in one season that involves two characters that is kind of forever ingrained in my mind because I watched it at a young age, and it was a very, very out of the ordinary episode. I believe it might have been like a Halloween episode, like took place on Halloween, and then two major characters get, stabbed, and it's like I remember like that being like terrifying to me.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then that, and then one of the things that I'm also kind of curious about, or not curious about, but interested in when watching it, is like, okay. Yeah, I like network shows, network dramas. I'm not really too crazy about them or anything because I feel like they're kind of.
They had their heyday.
Yeah, they did.
Their time has passed.
Yeah, and ER was definitely the heyday of it.
Mm-hmm.
An interesting kind of piece of trivia is that after the series premiere of ER, following that broadcast, ER only ever aired its original episodes on Thursday night on NBC at 10 p.m. throughout its run. Like, it never changed its schedule.
Wow.
And that's 15 years.
Different time.
Yeah, and it's amazing. And, like, just, like, reading that piece of trivia reminded me, like, man, I remember that. Like, I remember Thursday night, like, NBC would have their comedy lineup, and then as soon as 10 o'clock hit, it's like, oh shit, now we're getting serious.
Yeah.
And like, it was just interesting to think of that. But, a kind of other kind of tangential conversation to be had about this is that, this kind of came out of nowhere. And I think it's interesting because, Hulu paid a lot of money for Seinfeld to have the entirety of Seinfeld on Hulu. And then around that same time, or a little bit before that, Netflix did the same thing for Friends. And so there was this kind of like bidding war for Seinfeld at the time that Hulu ended up getting. But now it's interesting because this was a couple years ago. And then now we have ER that's just, I mean, it's a massive property that is suddenly on Hulu. And I feel like that kind of struggle isn't, or that kind of it's interesting because I don't think Netflix is concentrating at all on getting like the streaming rights to classic or contemporary classic TV shows,
right?
Whereas Hulu's kind of like doing that, and I kind of feel like maybe I haven't read up on it or anything, but I kind of feel like Hulu, from Hulu's perspective, is like maybe they can't necessarily beat Netflix with their original programming. Even though, I mean, Handmaid's Tale was really successful and everything, but they can't, I mean, they don't have the money and the resources to create as many original series, but I feel like maybe there's someone at Hulu's like, maybe there's a void, like we can get these streaming services, and they're still kind of like working on that, whereas Netflix is just going for the original series kind of thing. Anyway, did you have any comments on that, or?
Yeah, thoughts? That's a good point. And I mean, first of all, I think it's good that Netflix has competition. Yeah, they're not the only ones in the game. The streaming services are getting very competitive now. but yeah, I'm not especially familiar with Hulu because I don't have a subscription to it, but I've been perusing Amazon Prime a lot.
Amazon Prime's amazing.
It's fantastic. Yeah. That's how I watched The Big Sick. And really glad I did.
Yeah.
But yeah, it is really interesting to see how those given services are trying to like diversify themselves or stay relevant. And yeah, it seemed like for a while, Netflix being the first, the first, staking their claim in the streaming thing, they were the first ones there kind of, they used to focus a lot on, it used to be a big deal, like, ooh, Netflix just got this or that or whatever. And now it's not so much that. They've moved on to the, their own original content. And I have to imagine that creating original content is much more expensive than, especially when you think long term. It's like, yeah, they paid $100 million for Seinfeld or whatever, but it's a one-time payment and they're done.
Yeah. Plus, with the original series, like, there's that, it's a gamble.
Yes,
like, you have no idea if it's going to be a success.
Exactly. So, yeah, it's weird. Like, so many people talk about the business of Netflix and how, like, I don't remember who said it. I want to say Paul Thomas Anderson. I don't know. He came out and he was talking about Netflix and he was like, yeah, it's absolutely amazing. They create really good stuff, but I have no idea how they make money. He's like, I love Netflix. I've watched all of House of Cards. I've watched all this stuff and I love all this stuff, but I've never paid them one red penny. He's like, I've never paid them anything. I just use other people's logins and stuff like that. And I was like, dude, you can afford it.
Right.
I think it was Paul Thomas Anderson. I might be wrong. I don't remember. Maybe Darren Aronofsky. I can't remember. Anyways, but yeah, it's just, it's funny to think about them shelling out these tens of millions of dollars for these original shows. Yeah, it's really fascinating. Really quickly, I wasn't planning on talking about this, but Paige and I got my parents an Amazon Fire Stick.
Oh, nice.
For Christmas. And I helped them set it up over the weekend. They didn't need my help setting it up. My parents are decently tech savvy, actually. But I gave them my login for Amazon Prime and Netflix so they could watch that stuff.
Nice.
Because they don't have those subscriptions. And the Fire Stick is just really cool.
Yeah?
there's a lot of competition there. There's Roku, Apple TV, Amazon Fire Stick, Chromecast, all this stuff. And I'm very familiar with Apple TV and Roku. And I can honestly say that I think Amazon jumped ahead with their Fire stuff. They have it's just really cool. The interface is really nice. It feels more like a computer than it does than it does like an appy kind of phone or like a tablet. It feels like you're looking at a computer screen or a website. It's really it's very smooth. And then this is starting to become a thing, but it has a voice remote.
Oh, yeah.
So you can just hold down a button and talk into it, which is perfect because my dad is pretty tech savvy. My mom's not very good with it. And so I've taught her many times how to turn on the TV and get to a certain thing. And so she's not tech savvy, but that's what's perfect about it. I can be like, Mom, you just hold down this button and say, I want to watch Stranger Things, and it'll pop up for you.
Nice.
So I love that feature of it. And it all worked really seamlessly. It's just it was like $30.
See, and that's great. Like my Chromecast was like $25.
Yeah.
And like it's great. Like I love my Chromecast because it's like I'm literally like using my phone as a remote.
Yeah.
And it's really great. But I mean, I could see myself getting, I don't know. I could see myself getting like a small TV for my bedroom and then using my Chromecast in there and then getting like a Fire Stick for the living room.
It's a good idea.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I kind of just love Amazon. Their whole Echo thing too. The Echo and the dots, like the dot. I think over the Black Friday season and like leading up to Christmas, we got my parents an Echo Dot as well.
Oh, nice.
I think they were $25.
Yeah.
Or $30. I was like, right. And so like we were trying to, we couldn't think of anything to get my parents, and they didn't give us like really good ideas for them. And so I was like, why don't we just get them a Dot and a Fire Stick? And I was like, why wouldn't we? Because they're so cheap.
Yeah.
And it's just such a cool little feature. I've been listening to NPR a lot at work, like when I'm in the car, and you can stream NPR.
Yeah.
You can just say, hey, Alexa, play NPR. And it's It's right there, and I just love how they have different levels. You can get Prime or not. You can even get free stuff even if you're not using Prime.
That's awesome.
You know, it's just like they have all these different levels, and it's all quality stuff. So,
you know, it's interesting because I would never want to calculate how much money I've spent on Amazon. Like,
oh, me too.
I mean, that's primarily I spend more money through Amazon than anywhere else.
Me too.
Like anywhere else.
Yeah.
Like maybe my rent is more expensive. But yeah, I mean, Amazon is my go-to place for everything. So like I don't understand how anyone could not have Prime.
Yeah.
Because I get so much use out of it.
Right, me too.
And their selection on their instant streaming service is really, really competitive.
It is.
Like, there's some really good stuff on there.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Speaking of good stuff on Amazon.
Nice.
I can go into. Were you?
I had a second thing, but I don't think I'm going to bring it up because.
Okay.
Yeah, I think I actually already mentioned it a little bit on the year in review episode. So speaking of Amazon, Tiny.
Speaking of Amazon, there is a new show that I think came out within the past couple of months. I'm not sure when it came out. It's called The Marvelous Mrs. Maisel. It's a Amazon original series. It is just delightful.
Nice.
Paige and I just kind of watched it. Actually, it was when we were helping my parents set up their Fire Stick.
Oh, okay.
It popped up, and my dad was like, "Oh, I think that like won a couple Golden Globes, and it's supposed to be really good." And I was like, "Really? I haven't even heard of it." And the Globes were completely off my radar this year.
Mine too.
Yeah, and so I don't even know who won anything. I'm really off base there, but my dad mentioned that, and I was like, I haven't even heard anything about it. And so Paige was like, "Yeah, I heard it's really good too." And so she just like started watching it. She just started playing it, and on a whim, just out of nowhere. And we were like cleaning the house, and we were just like done and just really tired. So we sat down. She just turned it on, and man, am I glad she did. And 3 days we've watched like 7 or 8 episodes.
Very nice.
So there's a couple left. I haven't watched all of them, but it's about this like female comedian in the 1950s when stand-up comedy is like in its infancy. And
yeah, I read the IMDb description is a housewife in the 50s decides to become a stand-up comic. Like that elevator pitch or that log line right there. That's like that I definitely want to check out. And it stars Rachel. Oh, is Brosnan?
Rachel Brosnahan.
Brosnahan, yeah, from House of Cards.
Yes, House of Cards.
Yeah. So how is she in it? How's the supporting cast and everything?
Yeah, she's the lead. Alex Borstein is the second.
Oh, really?
Second lead. Her friend. Her husband is played by Michael Zegan. He is famous for Boardwalk Empire.
Who was he in Boardwalk Empire?
He was Benny Siegel.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. He was great in that. He was also in The Walking Dead. And then let's see who else. Tony Shalhoub, who's always fantastic.
Nice. Antonio Scarpacci.
Yeah, and just a couple other people, but Rachel Brosnahan is just amazing. Because like she plays. Her character in House of Cards is very like internal. She's like very internal, and she kind of has to bottle a lot of things up, and
kind of a victim mentality throughout the entire run.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think, did she win the Golden Globe? I think she did.
I don't know if she did or not. Okay. I know that it was up for it for sure.
I think she was nominated.
Yeah.
Anyways, so sorry, I'm trying to see if she won. I don't think she did. So her character on House of Cards is so compartmentalized and very withdrawn and dark and everything. And she's great. I'm not trying to take anything away from that performance. It's just that's my frame of reference for her as an actress. Right. Haven't really seen her in anything else, but then just to see her in this role, she's like a whippersnapper. Like she curses a lot, and she's like
nice.
Drinks, and she's part of this like affluent, very Jewish New York family in the 1950s, and she's really beautiful, and she's, it's the glamorous 1950s when everyone had big hair and was dressed up and everything all the time. Everybody's so dapper all the time. It's just so amazing to see that character juxtaposed with her character from House of Cards.
Nice.
And she's just like nailing it, hitting it out of the park. I mean, being an actor is not conducive to being a stand-up comic.
Right.
Just like being a stand-up comic is not conducive to being an actor. And so the two and two don't necessarily go hand in hand.
Right.
And so to see her just nail and completely understand how comedy works just blows me away, on top of being a really cool character who's just hilarious and really bright and like just peppy as all hell, and really, really incredible character. And she's just absolutely nailing it. And I hope the show goes on for another 4 or 5 seasons. It's fantastic. Alex Borstein also, probably her best work I've ever seen her.
Oh, really?
She's hilarious. She's like the complete opposite of what you would expect from like a 1950s lady. She's like she's like pretty butch and like doesn't dress up, and she curses like a sailor. And she's really good in it. I really love her in this show.
Very nice. That's awesome.
I cannot recommend it enough.
Nice.
It's fantastic.
And speaking also of Amazon Prime, and I'm going to put you on the spot a little bit.
Okay.
Okay, so for backstory, on my solo podcast Anthology, I'm reviewing Black Mirror in a bonus review series, and then after I finish that bonus review series, I'm going to dive right into Philip K. Dick's Electric Dreams, or as I'm in my head calling it, Dick's ED.
You're terrible.
I am, but I'm so fucking proud of that. Anyway, Philip K. Dick's Electric Dreams. Yeah, and I know that you've watched like a couple episodes of that.
I just watched the first one. That's it.
Just the first one.
Just the first one so far.
Yeah, I haven't seen the first one yet. But I'm going to this weekend. I'm planning on doing all that. But what'd you think of it so far?
It was okay. It was a little the story it's an anthology show, right? Like
it is.
It's a different.
Yeah.
Okay, I didn't even realize that. I thought.
Oh, really?
I thought it was a linear story. I didn't realize that.
Nope. Hence why I'm going to review it on Anthology.
Okay. I didn't realize that, but it was okay. I think the first episode, the story would have been better suited to a movie, maybe. It just kind of jumped into things and didn't have a lot of time for setup.
Interesting.
So it felt a little bit rushed. Terrence Howard is in it, and his performance was pretty good. I hadn't seen him in anything in a little while. But yeah, but unfortunately, there's some other performances that I wasn't real thrilled with.
Yeah.
In the first episode, but it was cool. It was nice and science fictiony, and it felt like that classic Philip K. Dick kind of thing.
Have you ever actually like read any Philip K. Dick?
I have not.
What's interesting is that, they actually published a book, a collection of all the short stories that are the basis of the episodes of Electric Dreams.
Mm-hmm. So
like in preparation for my review series on Anthology, I've read maybe 3 or 4 of them so far. There's 10 of them. I've read 3 or 4 of them, and it's my introduction to reading the work of Philip K. Dick, and man, he's really impressive at just bringing you right to an entirely different world.
Wow.
And what's interesting is that his writing style is that's his style. He will just drop you into the middle of this world. He'll throw in like bits and pieces here and there, but there's no like long exposition dumps or anything like that, or anything to that effect. It's just like, hey, these people are here. This is what they're doing. Roll with it. But yeah. So anyway, if you want to hear my thoughts on it, check out anthologypod.com in a couple weeks.
Okay. I'm definitely sticking with Electric Dreams.
Nice.
I'm invested in watching that. So
nice. Now here fairly soon, we could potentially be doing a Black Mirror episode, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Are you planning on watching that anytime soon?
Yeah, that's my focus for the foreseeable future with as far as watching TV is finishing The Marvelous Mrs. Maisel and then Black Mirror and Electric Dreams.
Nice. Yeah. Because I think we're gonna have like probably a bonus review just all about Black Mirror season 4. And Tiny, are you gonna like listen to my reviews on Anthology Forum?
Yeah, I'll try.
Nice, you should. Anyway, I'm actually really proud because in my 5 days off from work, I cranked out like 4 bonus reviews.
Damn.
Yeah. Yeah. Very happy about that. And then
that is impressive.
Yeah, thank you. And I think it was more like 3. Yeah, it was 3.
No, I'm not impressed
but
at all.
I know, yeah. I actually think it was technically 2.
Oh my God.
But that's neither here nor there. I have 3 more. I'm now halfway through reviewing the 4th season.
Okay.
And there's some really good stuff. It's funny, and this is a small tangent. I might even cut it out of the episode. I don't know. But it's funny because there's an episode that it's the next episode that I have to review that I'm both very much looking forward to reviewing it and very much terrified of reviewing it because it is, it is, I won't give anything away except that it is a Black Mirror version of like online dating.
Oh.
And it, like, I feel like if I'm not careful, I'm going to say some very private things in my reviews. Needless to say, that episode freaking spoke to me.
Okay.
Yeah, but anyway, so I can't wait to talk to you about Black Mirror.
Okay.
Do you mind if I go next? Do you have any
Absolutely.
more?
Go ahead.
Okay. All right. So next up for me is, okay. It's Mother.
Okay.
Darren Aronofsky's movie with Jennifer Lawrence, who he was dating at the time.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I guess they've been dating for a while. They're not anymore.
Huh.
So there's a chance. No, but so the plot description according to IMDb is a couple's relationship is tested when uninvited guests arrive at their home, disrupting their tranquil existence. So to say Mother is a polarizing movie is a massive understatement.
Mm-hmm.
Like, Mother, just judging from the reaction online and the reaction of people that, like, reviews I've read and listened to and everything, Mother is a movie that you will either really like, maybe love, or vehemently hate with every fiber of your being and never want to see again for the rest of your life.
Okay.
There's like no middle ground with Mother. And going into the movie, my only expectation or my only thought going into the movie, I feel like I was in a very good frame of mind because I actually was prepared for it. I'd heard whispers that this movie is essentially just a metaphor for Mother Nature and humans impeding on Mother Nature, apparently.
Okay.
So going into the movie with that mindset, I kind of was blown away by it, like in a very good way. So keeping in mind the kind of metaphor, like for starters, Mother is not a movie at all that you can take literally. Like, you cannot assign a literal viewpoint to the entire movie. Like, you can't judge the characters based on like how you would judge conventional characters in a narrative.
Okay.
Like, you can't sit there and say like, oh, well, like there's no like richness to the character because it is literally all metaphor. So the kind of conceit of the movie is that, I don't even know how much I want to give away, but basically it's the entire story is this freaking mind-boggling, depiction of Mother Nature, the planet Earth, God, and what happens when God pisses off Mother Nature by bringing mankind to Earth and creating mankind on Earth. And what's fascinating to me is that this is a movie that's set almost entirely, pretty much almost entirely within the confines of this house.
Okay.
And having everything steeped in so much metaphor, it makes the kind of visual representation of those metaphors, even though sometimes Darren Aronofsky is a little on the nose with it.
Yeah, he is.
it's great because I am not the best at detecting subtlety, so it works for me. But
Yeah.
seeing the way that he basically the way that he tells the story through in those confines of it being a metaphor and it being confined to this house, and each specific character representing a specific thing in a specific part of the story, like, I was really, really just taken with it. I thought it was really well done.
Okay.
And there are some very interesting, like, biblical allegories that are made. Like, there's, I don't even want to give it away, but there's some elements, like, I'm not a religious person, never been a religious person. I kind of don't care for religion in general.
Right.
But there are, like, biblical stories that are depicted in metaphor in this movie that I'm like, oh shit, that was that. And I was like, the way that I was following, I'm like, this is kind of really impressive. And it's a movie that really is going to stay with me for a while. And the way that the tension and the story itself just escalates and becomes just grander in scope within still the confines of this palatial estate. That's the interior is kind of claustrophobic in its own right. The way that the story expands leads to some of the most fascinating and most daring and most just shocking visual filmmaking I've seen within the last in a very long time.
Okay.
So it's like just the stuff that Aronofsky does, like when shit goes completely insane, like it's like you can't tear yourself away from it. And it's really fascinating. And like, I'm just so surprised. Like I'm so impressed that that he was able to make this story. Like, he was able to make this movie the way that he did.
Yeah.
And kind of on the other hand of things, it's funny because, like, a few years ago, we actually reviewed Noah, which I believe was his last movie previous to this. And that's very much like, it's obviously the story of Noah from the Bible, and it's pretty straightforward. Like, he tells it in a way that, it's set in that period. And I didn't like it. I just didn't like Noah.
Yeah, I wasn't really into it either.
Yeah. But had he made Noah in this same way, like a contemporary setting and just all metaphor, I would have been much more taken with it.
Okay.
Because with Mother, I was just, man, it kind of freaking blew me away.
Nice.
I don't know if it blew me away enough to ever really want to see it again, but man, there was some really great stuff in it. And
okay.
After you see it, I do want to have a nerdy conversation with you about one element of it that, idiot that I am, I connected something stupid to it. But anyway.
Okay.
Has nothing to do with really anything. But yeah, that's Mother, and it was really, really impressive. Like,
nice.
I don't know if I've ever, I don't know when the last time I had like a movie going experience or a movie watching experience like that kind of left me with so much to absorb and take in.
Wow.
Yeah.
Would it have made your top 10?
That's a very tough call. Fuck.
Sounds like it should have.
It probably would have. I mean, it probably would have been like a 9 or 10.
Okay.
Just because and I tweeted this too. Just because the achievement in just in filmmaking, that was what he achieved filming the movie is worthy enough of recognition to be on a top 10 list.
Okay.
And I tweeted this, but just incredibly like daring filmmaking and more like daring Aronofsky. Am I right?
Yeah, you're right.
Because he's daring. Anyway, so he and Jennifer Lawrence are no longer together.
Yeah, I really wanted to see this, and I knew that it's too weird for Paige, so she'll never watch it.
Oh, yeah.
And so I had to watch it on my own, just trying to find the time to do it. But I knew that when it was making headlines because religious people were really pissed off about it, I was like, I'm probably going to like this movie.
Right. Well, and that's oh man, it's really good. I really liked it. In just like not even like in terms of like waiting for it to kind of the climax of the movie and everything, but even like from the beginning of it, it's just it's filmed in a way that's so I don't want to say invasive, but it's just it kind of gets under your skin a little bit. Like it's most of the scenes. I heard somewhere that like 90, I think Aronofsky said like something like 90 to 95% of all the shots in the movie are from one of 3 different point of views. So there's like a shot, like one of those 3 is from over the shoulder of Jennifer Lawrence, up close on someone's face, or point of view from Jennifer Lawrence, I think. I don't remember what all 3 were, but essentially, like, the way that the camera moves, it just feels like you are constantly, like, you're in Jennifer Lawrence's position, because it's essentially the camera is following her around throughout the entire movie as she's navigating this house, and it's so impressive. Like, it really blew me away, and kind of one of my last thoughts about that is that, and something that I didn't really catch on to until later in the movie, but there is 0 score.
Really?
Yeah, there is no music in the movie, except for like a couple of shots where there's like music playing in the scene. But there is no like, no one scored it as like a composer or anything. It's just, it's in that it leads to it being just a really, it has somewhat of a weird, like, adverse effect from what it should. Cause like, when you score a movie, you're playing up the tone, and it's bringing the audience into like a connection with the story. And it's, you know, it's a score. Like it's the audio representation of the emotion, feeling of the scene and everything. But with the absence of that, somehow for me, like, drew me even deeper into the story and deeper into what's going on and figuring out what the fuck I'm watching. It's such an interesting movie.
And that's unlike Darren Aronofsky too. He's known for having immersive music.
Oh, absolutely. Like one of the most iconic movie tracks of all, or at least of the last 50 years or so, is Requiem for a Dream,
right?
Lux Eterno,
right?
I think by Clint Mansell,
right?
And Clint Mansell has worked with him like
a lot of
most
times.
of his career,
yeah.
And it's like, and he's like an incredible composer. But yeah, it's
interesting.
Man, I really want you to see it.
Yeah, I want to see it.
Yeah,
really
I ended
bad.
up renting it on Google Play. So
okay,
yep. So it is available for rent, and that is Mother, and it is. Man, I was really taken with it.
Okay.
I really was.
Wow.
So what do you, after I've, crowned so much praise on Aronofsky and everything, what do you have next?
Up next, I was going to talk about, another thing I watched on Amazon Prime. I'm doing this just to mess with you, by the way.
Nice.
I'm picking a totally random order from my list just to mess with you.
Nice.
It's another movie I watched on Amazon Prime. It's free with Prime. It's called Paterson.
Nice.
It's from 2016. Stars Adam Driver of Kylo Ren fame.
Can I say something?
Yeah.
Judging from, I've only seen the trailer. I haven't seen the movie, but and if I'm wrong, I'll cut this out of it. But would you say that his name should be Adam Bus Driver?
God, you could say that because
Nice.
he's a bus driver in the movie.
So sorry.
Yeah. But yeah, you could say he's a bus driver in the movie. You could say he's a veteran. You could say he's a boyfriend. You could say he's a poet. You could say just about anything about his character because his character is like nothing. Huh. This movie was so weird to me. Like, I think I kind of liked it, but at the same time, it's pretty boring and pretty uneventful. It's like his character, also named Paterson. He lives in the city of Paterson, New Jersey, which has a few claims to fame. And is kind of featured prominently in the movie. he's just this like the character is just like this amalgamation of facts. He has like very, very little personality, and like they spotlight all these things about him, most notably that he writes poetry all the time, and he's a poet, a fairly simplistic one, and an amateur, absolutely, but he likes poetry. He writes it all the time. He is a bus driver. He was in the Marines. He has a girlfriend. It's like it's like all these things about him don't influence who he is, and he's just this super vanilla, uncharacteristic mannequin-like character, and I really don't know what they were trying to do. I was like waiting the whole movie for him to do something grand or do something big, or like he spends the movie writing these poems down in this notebook by hand, and he's got dozens, if not over 100 of them from like I would assume over a year's worth of work.
Okay.
And like at a certain point, I hate to spoil this, but like that the notebook gets ruined.
Okay.
And he's like doesn't even react.
Really?
And it's just like, man, that's like your heart and soul you're pouring out, and he takes it really seriously, and it's like it's something that it is his passion in the movie, but he just like doesn't even really care, and he's just like, yeah, well, yeah, that's too bad. Huh. I really just didn't. I guess I just didn't get it. I don't know what they were going for.
Huh. And that's on Amazon Prime?
It's on Amazon Prime. Yeah, it's. I mean, I maybe I was missing something, or I don't know, but I was waiting for something big to happen.
Interesting.
He has a girlfriend throughout in the movie, and she like doesn't work, and she just kind of lives at home. She's like this like free spirited artist and this very outgoing, extroverted, type A kind of person. So literally like the polar opposite of what he is.
Right.
She does all the talking. She decorates the whole house. She does everything, makes all the decisions. And for whatever reason, he just kind of keeps on loving her. And it's just kind of weird because it's just they seem so diametrically opposed. It seems like she's annoying him throughout most of the movie.
Really?
But for whatever reason, he's like in love with her, and he's... I don't know. I really just didn't really get it that much.
That's really interesting because a couple years, or this came out in 2016, right?
Yeah.
Okay, like last year on our year in review episode, you mentioned that it was one of your movies that you wish you would have seen.
Yeah. I wish it was, and I wished that it was. I'm glad it wasn't, because it would not. I wouldn't have made any of my list anywhere. I didn't hate the movie. I'm not saying it sucks or anything. It's just like I almost want to see it again. I don't know. It is a very poetic kind of story. There's a lot of very I liked a lot of the visuals in the movie, which is a weird thing to say because Paterson is just kind of an every town. It's you know, a medium-sized city, medium-sized American city. It's nothing incredible, but they made it look kind of picturesque.
Okay.
Very bucolic. It was interesting in that regard, but I wasn't really sure what they were going for.
Interesting.
I remember when this was coming out, I was really looking forward to it because it was something I'd read about. It said that it's an important movie because it's about someone who's a veteran and how he's trying to make his way through the world after getting out of the military. But there's literally nothing to do with his service at all.
Wow.
They show a picture of him when he was in the Marines, and that's it. He doesn't bring it up. No one ever brings it up. There's nothing. There is one physical altercation where I think maybe he learned those moves in the military, but he never says that. No one ever asks him about it. I just don't. I don't get it. He's just such a scattered character that I really don't understand it.
Wow. I'm going to have to check that out just out of curiosity because like the trailer didn't really do much for me when I saw it a year or so ago, but I at least thought that Adam Driver would it would have been a cool starring role for him, like kind of a meaty indie drama role for him.
It wasn't not in my book. He was fine. It was just the material that was weird.
Okay.
The girl who plays his girlfriend, oh, geez, I'm gonna slaughter her name. She's Iranian. She's Persian. Golshifteh Farahani. She was actually relatively enjoyable. Like I said, the juxtaposition of those two being diametrically opposed, polar opposites, was kind of funny. Not like laugh out loud funny, but kind of situationally funny.
Sure.
And so she was bubbly and enjoyable, and I kind of liked her in the movie as well. But really cute dog in the movie too.
Nice. What kind of dog?
English bulldog.
Okay. All right.
English bulldog.
Okay.
Yeah. So I mean, I'd probably give it like a 6 or 6.5 out of 10.
Okay.
Somewhere in there.
What did you rate it on Letterboxd?
I didn't rate it.
Oh, okay.
I don't rate most of the movies because I check in right when I start watching the movie.
Oh, makes sense.
So yeah.
Yeah. Speaking of which, I officially got my Letterboxd all up to date.
Nice.
So one of my resolutions for this year is to keep up with Letterboxd throughout the entire year.
Okay.
So you can find me on there at Obsessive Viewer, letterboxd.com/obsessiveviewer. Tiny's Obsessive Tiny on it.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, follow us there.
Totally.
Did you have anything more to say on Paterson?
No, that was actually more than I wanted to say. I don't know.
Sure. All right. Well, speaking of Amazon Prime, I watched a movie on Amazon Prime that's available on Amazon Prime. It's a Hello, My Name is Doris, which is Sally Field, Max Greenfield. It's the plot description is a self-help seminar inspires a 60-something woman to romantically pursue her younger coworker. It was directed by Michael Showalter, who directed Big Sick.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, and he's known for obviously being in like a lot of David Wayne productions and like Wet Hot American Summer.
Okay.
Anyway, yeah, so Hello, My Name is Doris. I was very pleasantly surprised by this. I kind of watched it on a whim. And I was really impressed with Sally Field's performance, first and foremost, because it could have been just kind of a standard kind of coming of age comedy, story about a woman who is kind of trying to evolve with the times but can't because of her age. Like, it could have been one of those standard movies like that, but it turned out that it's less about just kind of the tropish nature of the story, and it's just more about her as a character. Like, she is in the movie, her mother has died, and she's been taking care of her mother, and her house is now empty, and they were both hoarders and everything. So there's a whole subplot with her brother and sister-in-law trying to get her to clean out the house and finally stop being a hoarder about it. In that subplot, it kind of really spoke to me. It was really fascinating, or really a really strong performance by Sally Field, because there's one scene, it's kind of the quintessential, like, oh, you need to clean out your, like, it's kind of the quintessential, like, hoarder scene where it's like, oh no, you can't get rid of this. This is important. I need this, that kind of cliched scene. But the way that Sally Field plays it is so freaking heartbreaking. Like, she kind of blew me away. Her performance is outstanding. And, like, there's a moment soon after that where, like, the whole point of the movie is that she's going after this younger guy, and she is not she's not adjusting well to kind of technology and everything. She's out of touch because she's a 60-something-year-old woman who didn't really adapt with the times or anything. So there's a moment where I didn't look up to see if Sally Field won any awards for it, but she deserved all of them if she did.
Wow.
She deserved them, because there's a scene where, like, her brother is talking to her about how they both agreed that she would be the one that would take care of their mother and everything. And, like, there's this, like, Sally Field's response to that is so freaking heartbreaking, and it's just she's basically voicing her regret for the last, like, however many years, and how she could have had everything, but she chose to to take care of their mother, and how now her brother has everything that she should have. And it's just like, it is an emotionally just devastating performance from Sally Field. Yeah, and then the actual like main plot of the movie with her and Max Greenfield is, I mean, it's kind of silly and really cringy, because it's kind of this thing where she is technologically inept and she is taking advice from like a 13-year-old who's a friend of her, or a granddaughter of her friend, who she's basically getting dating advice from this teenage girl, and it kind of has some hilarious side effects and everything, or responses, but for the most part, I mean, this is a great movie for Sally Field's performance. Like her performance in this movie is really great, and I also really like Max Greenfield in it. He's very charming and very he plays the character as someone who you think could maybe actually be into Sally Field, like,
okay.
Because the lengths that she goes to kind of harbor this crush toward him are pretty surprising and hilarious, and cringe-inducing, but like it's enough to where you would think that he would, like, it's kind of built up in her head, so it's not like he has any knowledge of it, but he still has this charming aspect to him that's like, he seems like a genuine person who could maybe actually be into her. But yeah.
Okay.
Anyway, that's Hello, My Name is Doris. Really good performance by Sally Field. I really can't overstate that. And
how did you watch it?
It was available on Amazon Prime.
Okay.
Yeah.
Nice.
And so, Tiny, if I were to name my couch 17, and I were to ask you to give me what your next one is, would you keep me on the edge of my 17?
God, that was really laborious.
It was. So what do you have next? I swear to God, if you say Atomic Blonde.
I actually was going to talk about The Edge of 17. So,
oh, nice.
Yeah, I watched that. That was a movie that I was really looking forward to as well. Mm-hmm. I love Haley Steinfeld. I think she's ridiculously talented for how young she is. She's really funny. So I was looking forward to that. Woody Harrelson's one of my favorite actors. Mm-hmm. It just looks like a funny but like grounded funny teen comedy kind of movie. And it turned out to be pretty much that, and I was fairly happy with it. I enjoyed it relatively well. Yeah,
I've heard really good things.
Really? Yeah. It didn't it reminded me a lot of the movie Easy A.
Okay.
And I think Easy A is actually the better movie. Mm-hmm. I think it had more better rounded characters. So like in The Edge of 17, Haley Steinfeld's character is very on point and very well rounded, well done character. But a lot of the supporting characters aren't as well done. So that's I think that's what kind of separates it apart. And then Easy A was a little more goofy, a little more satirical maybe. This was kind of on the nose, The Edge of 17, but it was great. I think it captured really well kind of like what it is to be a teenager, you know, and the angst that comes with that, and all of the ridiculous hormones and the wave of emotions you're going through trying to figure out how to be an adult. And this movie captured that pretty well without being pretentious or like, you know, talking down to teenagers, I guess is the way I would kind of put it. Like, it wasn't like lecturing or whatever, or like, you know, Haley Steinfeld's character, what was her name? Nadine, wasn't like an idealized version of a teenager. Okay. Like too smart for her, like unrealistically smart or witty or quick or whatever. She makes a lot of mistakes, and she's not flawless, and she's not perfectly funny in every single situation, and people get the better of her. And it was just it just felt like a really grounded movie. Nice. There's a lot of really good dramatic moments mixed in with the comedy. And Woody Harrelson remains one of my favorite actors.
Yeah.
He's not in this movie enough. It's really kind of a shame because he has some hilarious moments.
Nice.
And Haley Steinfeld is phenomenal. She's so good. I love everything she does. She's terrific. So, Kira Sedgwick also had a very good performance as her mother.
Oh, nice.
Dealing with the death of her husband, and Haley Steinfeld's father passes away, and so she's trying to figure out how to be a single mother and all that. And she also does a really good job in this movie. So it's really enjoyable. It's funny and it's kind of a dramedy. In that respect, it's really well done, and it's, even though it's about, teenagers and coming of age, it's very accessible for people who are not teenagers. It's
Nice.
It's not some goofy ass teen show on the CW that you're just like, God, these kids suck. It's pretty accessible and pretty relatable for anyone who grew up at some point.
Nice.
I think you would especially like it. There's this kind of,
I was going to say, because you said anyone who grew up, I'm like, I haven't grown up
yeah,
yet, Tiny.
no, not so much.
Anyway.
No, I'm kidding. But there's this very kind of like dorky, awkward character that I was like, oh, Matt's in this movie.
Well, that's, 3 podcasts.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah, but it's a charming little movie. I really liked it. It was fun.
Nice. I'm going to have to definitely check that out. And how did you watch it?
It was airing on one of the movie channels, and I just recorded it.
Oh.
Watched it on my DVR. It may have been Showtime.
Gotcha.
Showtime, maybe. Yeah.
All right. Sure.
I liked it.
Yeah, I'll have to check and see if it's streaming anywhere or rented or whatever. I've been really getting into just buying myself Google Play gift cards just so I can load up my Google Play account with just money.
Nice.
Yeah, so like I actually have one hanging up on my little key thing there for a rainy day.
Nice.
But yeah, and then also kind of side tangent here, but our friend Matt and Draco, and Patreon supporter Matt and Draco, he gave me a free rental through Vudu.
Nice.
Because he's a T-Mobile user, and he has like T-Mobile Tuesdays where he gets free shit.
Right.
And so he's like, hey, do you ever rent movies on Vudu? And I'm like, not really, but I have a Vudu account, so sure. And he's like, well, here you go. And then like I redeemed it, and it was like, it wasn't like oh, here's a free rental. It's like, oh, here's $5.50 of credit on your account. And I'm like, okay, sweet. So I went ahead, and what's great about it is it's compatible with Chromecast. There's a app on PS4, so it's very easily accessible.
Nice.
And so and kind of the bonus of that is that I assume that like the first rental you do is 99 cents. Like,
nice.
So I was able to rent a few movies. I haven't watched them yet, but I do have a few that I'm really excited about, because one thing that I really like about Vudu's interface and everything is that it has, it basically has a lot of different genres and categories and everything. So like I went to, because another one of my kind of resolutions, I guess, or goals for the year is to kind of watch more kind of classics, or maybe not even classics, just like watch more movies from, the past, not like the last decade.
Right.
So I went on kind of a rental spree. I rented, I currently have 5 rentals that are active on Vudu. Yes. And I also have 3 that are active on Google Play. That actually might be more now that I think about it. But I'm really excited about the 5 movies that I have rented on Vudu, because they are, okay, I'll say, well, okay. First I have Network, which I've never seen, so I'm excited to check that out. Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid.
Cool.
Shane.
Okay.
Yep. And then I'm weirdly really excited about this, because this is going to be a double feature for me. But the Poseidon Adventure and the Towering Inferno.
Nice. I love the Towering Inferno.
And I know that you do.
Yeah.
And I've always wanted to see it, but I've just never gotten around to it. So,
yeah.
I'll probably watch those and report back next week for Potpourri.
Nice.
Yeah, so I'm excited for that.
That's cool.
And thank you so much to Matt and Draco for donating.
He hooks me up with like free Redbox codes all the time.
Nice.
Through T-Mobile. It's funny because he gave me one yesterday. Nice. He was like, "Sorry, it expires today." I was like, "Oh, it's all right. We'll use it." And I worked till 11 o'clock at night.
Oh yeah.
Didn't even get to use it. I almost sent it to you, but I was just like so wrapped up in getting work. I was working.
Yeah.
I was working.
Oh, so, absolutely.
Like, I should have forwarded it to you.
It's no big deal.
Yeah.
Like I said, as of right now, I have 8 different rentals.
Nice.
Going through
You're doing all right.
Vudu and Google Play. So, yeah. And for those wondering, my Google Play rentals are Brad's Status with Ben Stiller and I don't want to look at my phone again. Brad's Status, The Time Machine from 1960 that I'm reviewing on Anthology.
Nice.
Oh, and the Sacred Killing of a Deer.
Okay, cool.
The Killing of a Sacred Deer.
The Killing of a Sacred Deer. That sounds right.
Yeah. Anyway, The Sacred Killing of a Deer. No,
I've heard mixed things on that one.
I'm very curious about it. I've never seen The Lobster, which was the guy's previous movie. But I'm very curious about this because I don't know much about it. So
yeah. Nice.
All right. Well,
I've never used Vudu.
Really?
I'll have to look into that.
You know, it's really interesting because I have Vudu and like, it's kind of touch and go. Okay, they have this one feature that, okay, this is kind of embarrassing and not really something I want to bring up, but they have a feature called Disc to Digital, where, okay, so you have the app. You basically load the app up, go to the Disc to Digital section, take one of your DVDs, scan the barcode, and if it's one of the like 10,000 movies that are available, you pay $2 and get a digital copy forever.
Interesting.
Yeah, $2 for standard definition, $5 for high def.
Less interesting.
Exactly. And so like I had this like vision in my head. It's like I'm gonna get a bunch of like sticky notes, and I'm gonna go through all my DVDs and just like scan them, see how much they are, put them on there, so that when I have a little extra money here and there, I'll just slowly digitize my collection.
Wow.
And then
I see issues with that plan.
Oh, very much so. Point one is that I have my Vudu account linked to my Google Play account, or somehow my Google Play somehow most of the Google Play digital copies are in my Google Play library. Same way that like if I go to Amazon, I have that linked to Google Play, or I have it linked to Vudu or something. So if I go to Amazon on my PS4 and then I go to my movies that I have, I'll have like all of my like digital copies that I've redeemed and stuff available there. So yeah, anyway, there's a longer conversation to be had about digitizing your collections and stuff, cuz like I was thinking like, okay, I have owned like this collection of Alfred Hitchcock movies. Am I pointing in the right place? Yeah. Right here. I have owned those for over a decade, since high school. I bought the box set. I've watched maybe I've watched maybe 15% of them total. Never really like have any motivation to do that, but I went ahead and scanned and bought the digital copy of North by Northwest and
Nice.
What was the other one I got? Strangers on a Train. And then like I could see myself like doing that so that I have instant access to them without having to bother with that. But
yeah.
Anyway, this is all me pouring money into something that doesn't need to be poured into.
North by Northwest is great.
And you know, I've seen it once when I was
really? Okay.
much younger.
Yeah.
And I couldn't really appreciate it, but yeah, I'll have to revisit it.
Nice.
Yeah. Next up for me is actually it was Mike's number 3 movie in his top 10 list. 3 Billboards Outside Ebbing, Missouri.
Nice.
Yes. So the plot description from IMDb is a mother personally challenges the local authorities to solve her daughter's murder when they fail to catch the culprit. So, you know, Mike spoke very highly of it. I actually re-listened to that section of the podcast to see what his thoughts were. And, I mean, I totally get why he would make it his number 3 and everything. Honestly, I I wasn't as taken with it. It wasn't a bad movie. I didn't have a bad experience with it or anything, but I did kind of feel it was a little bit lacking for me. Having said that, like the performances are incredible. Frances McDormand plays the mother, who takes out the billboards to kind of challenge the police department. Sam Rockwell plays this really great performance of this just very racist and dick-headed police officer. Maybe I think it might be officially like a deputy or something. But and then Woody Harrelson plays the chief of police, and those are kind of the three main roles and everything. And they bring a lot, like the characters bring a lot of different things to the table, and there's some really interesting surprises in the plot regarding the characters and everything. But that central dynamic of those three characters is really, really interesting. And I really liked the way that the plot unfolded, because it is this battle between Frances McDormand and the police department. And it is this battle that's, at times, like, I know that Fecus saw it, and I talked to him a little bit about it, before I had seen it. And he said that he wasn't prepared for it to be as serious as it was. Like, he was expecting it to be more comedic, since the same person made like Seven Psychopaths and a couple
Martin
of movies.
McDonagh.
Yeah.
In Bruges.
In Bruges, yes, that's the one I was thinking of. I still thought it was still pretty funny. Like, there were some really good dark comedic beats. But yeah, it is for the most part a very kind of serious movie. And I kind of left it thinking, I kind of left the movie feeling a little underwhelmed, because I don't feel like the ending or the last act really connected with me in terms of putting the characters on a specific track. I don't really know what statement they were trying to make with the movie, or if there was one. I just kind of, by the end of it, it kind of left me wanting a little bit.
Okay.
But the actual performances are really great. Peter Dinklage appears in like kind of a supporting role.
Nice.
Which is always great to see him. There is one sequence that is really, really impressive. It is basically following Sam Rockwell as he walks out of a building, crosses a street, walks into another building. And what he does in that scene, I won't give it away or anything, but just like the way that it's shot and the way that it unfolds is really good.
Nice.
I was really taken with that. Oh, also, I can't remember the actor's name. Is it Clark? It's not Clark Peters? Lester Freeman? I'm going to look that up.
Oh. I don't remember his name.
Yeah, hang on, let me look that up real quick. Yes, it is Clark Peters. Clark Peters appears in it. He played Lester Freeman in The Wire. But anyway, I thought it was just okay. It wouldn't have made my top 10 list or even my honorable mentions, but it had a lot to it that I was kind of taken with, but just at the end, it didn't really connect for me that much.
Okay. I'm really glad that Martin McDonagh is like in the spotlight right now, because In Bruges is maybe one of my favorite movies, top 20 favorite movies of the last decade.
Nice. I love it.
I love that movie. So, and Seven Psychopaths is also really good. So I'm glad he's getting some spotlight right now.
Nice.
I haven't seen it yet though.
Nice.
Yeah.
So what do you got next?
Pretty briefly, but up next is the second season of The Crown came out, and I can say with, I think, complete confidence that is my favorite show right now.
Oh, really?
That's my favorite show on TV right now.
Nice.
It is just so freaking good. We had that little tangent earlier about streaming services and how Netflix is pouring all this money into original content, and man, I bet a lot of that money is going to the show because they just do not cut any corners from like a visual standpoint.
Wow.
It just blows me away that they're filming this show that's 50 years in the past, and like I feel like with a show like Mad Men, that was an incredible looking show, and it had great visuals, and it was again impressive that it was a show, a period piece show like that, and they maintained all this authenticity and all that stuff. But I feel like with that show, you could kind of see the tricks a little bit.
Sure.
Not to take anything away from it or like criticize Mad Men for that, but I feel like you could kind of see where they were kind of trying to cut some corners a little bit. But with The Crown, it's like, no, we're going to put them on a royal yacht in the English Channel during a storm and film it. Like, it's crazy what they achieve. And like, they go to all these castles and they have like, I swear to God, the Queen and her family and her husband and her kids are in a different like high class, ridiculously expensive car every single episode.
Wow.
It's like a different Rolls Royce or a different Aston Martin or a different, and it's just like, man, where are they? They're just like spending so much money getting these vintage cars that are in perfect condition, look like they just rolled off the assembly line. And it's not CGI. Like there's CGI in the show, but just an incredible commitment to authenticity on the show that just, I'm really impressed by it.
Nice.
You can't look away from the screen. It's a stunningly gorgeous show. And it's just so incredible. It's so interesting. I had no idea how interesting the royal family was. I was not, that was not a subject I was interested in. I'm politically diametrically opposed to that kind of system. And so I've always found it kind of, the best word I can say is I find it very silly that's
Sure.
Everyone takes that so seriously, and it's like, really, they were just born and now they're your leader. Like it bothers me, but they're an incredibly interesting family, and their place in history is just endlessly fascinating. And how they, their relationship to like British empiricism and how it's, how much the monarchy has changed throughout the 20th century is such a direct result of the Windsor family. It's just so fascinating, and you have to watch this show. It's just it's so fascinating. I love history, and so I'm a little biased in that respect, but I don't care. You should like this show. It's that good.
Nice.
I just absolutely adore it.
I've been, is it 12, 13 episodes this season?
It's 10.
10. Okay.
Yeah.
I don't know why, but I've kind of been putting it off. I just remembered something. Anyway, I'll talk about that later.
Okay.
I've been kind of putting it off, but I'm going to definitely have to make time to watch it.
If you liked the King's Speech, imagine that 20 times.
Okay.
That's what the show is. It's that good.
Damn.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Cool. Awesome.
Yeah.
Nice. Should I go?
Yeah, go for it.
Okay. So this is kind of my last one. I have one more that I'm going to talk very briefly about, but I definitely want to talk about this one in more detail. But I saw the post.
Nice.
And first of all, plot description. A cover-up that spanned 4 U.S. presidents pushed the country's first female newspaper publisher and a hard-driving editor to join an unprecedented battle between the press and the government. Now, let me preface my thoughts on the post by saying that I don't know if it's possible for me to have more admiration for a filmmaker than I do for Steven Spielberg.
Nice.
Obviously, his name is synonymous with film. He is an icon of the medium. But the fact that the post exists is such a mark of his artistic leanings and the creative force of the medium.
Okay.
So I don't know if you're aware of this, Tiny, but the post was basically as Steven Spielberg was working on Ready Player One. he announced in March of 2017, they made the announcement that he was going to be making the Post. May 2017 began production. December, it's released.
Jeez.
And it is incredible. Like,
wow.
I really, really loved this movie.
Nice.
First of all, the story it deals with the Washington Post and the Pentagon Papers and Nixon and there's a bunch of stuff there. But what I love about it is that why it's a mark of such a great mark of artistic achievement is that it is a direct reflection of our political climate today.
Yeah, I was going to say.
Yeah. So there are so many parallels to be drawn between the events of the Post and the Trump administration's adversarial relationship with the media.
Mm-hmm.
And what I absolutely adore about what Steven Spielberg did, I haven't read anything about what he set out to do or why, like what his frame of reference was or what his frame of mind was for it, but it's pretty clear that he saw the state of the world. He saw the state of the Trump administration and the state of this crazy fake news bullshit thing and was like, I'm going to make a movie that addresses this and also goes into detail about a piece of history.
Mm-hmm.
And the fact that he did that within one calendar year while working on a big budget Ready Player One adaptation is worthy of so much admiration. Like
I did not know that.
Yeah, it is mind-blowing to me. And The Post is a movie that what I'm kind of finding more as we live in this world that we are living in now or occupying now is that I'm trying to see these different connections here. Like how is the world that we live in? How is let's not, mince words, but how is the Trump administration affecting the way that art is created in Hollywood?
Mm-hmm.
And what kind of messages are being conveyed in art in Hollywood? And The Post is a movie that is, for as short of a time span as it's spent in production, it has the makings of it's Steven Spielberg doing a period movie. It's on point. Like everything is detailed and everything is really well done. Performances are amazing. It's Tom Hanks and Meryl Streep.
Yeah. And
plus a ton, like a whole ensemble of really good supporting actors. But the parallels to kind of the Trump administration, it's not like they're not actually like, obviously it's set in the 70s. It's not like saying like, oh, hey, this is what Trump's doing and everything. It's just like, it's a commentary on, it is both informative of the past and the story that it's telling, because I honestly didn't know much of anything about the Pentagon Papers or that whole story. And it's informative of that while also giving you a lot to think about in terms of what our current world situation is and what our current administration is like, and why it's detrimental to us that we have an administration that is seeking to silence or to discredit the press, because that's exactly what happened with the Pentagon Papers and the Times and the Post and everything. That's a central part of this movie. And to see that and see the parallels so well drawn without detracting from the actual story and telling the narrative of what happened is an incredible achievement. And it's really incredible. I really loved this movie. I was very much taken with it throughout the entire time. It was really great. And I kind of adore the way that it ends. I won't give it away or anything, but it's just, like that final scene is just so great. And like, I kind of got giddy with excitement because I knew where it was leading. And it's just such a great movie. Like the guy who wrote the screenplay for it also wrote the screenplay for Spotlight. And while I think Spotlight is a much better movie than The Post, I still think that The Post is a very, very good newspaper drama.
Okay.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, and he also wrote another movie that I can't place.
As soon as I saw it, I thought of Spotlight.
Oh yeah.
I didn't actually till right now. I didn't even know it was a Spielberg movie.
Oh really?
I didn't even know that. Yeah.
Interesting.
I really wanted to see it.
Yeah, I think it's still playing in theaters now.
Okay.
But yeah, one of the co-writers. It was written by Liz Hannah and Josh Singer. And Josh Singer was a writer on The West Wing.
Nice.
Yeah. Oh wow, and oh man, this has me excited. He is also that's what he also wrote. He also wrote The Fifth Estate.
Oh, okay.
So he's kind of made.
I like that movie.
Yeah, he's kind of made a career of
commentary on journalism.
Yeah, yeah.
Interesting.
But he's also credited with writing the screenplay for First Man, which is. Are you aware of what First Man is?
No.
Oh man, it is a look at the life of the astronaut Neil Armstrong and the legendary space mission that led him to become the first man to walk on the moon on July 20th, 1969. Written by. What was his name again? Josh Singer, and directed by Damien Chazelle.
I'm there.
Yep.
I'll watch that one.
I'm super excited. Starring Ryan Gosling as Neil Armstrong, Pablo Schreiber as Jim Lovell.
Perfect.
Jason Clarke as Ed White.
Okay.
Kyle Chandler's in it.
Wow.
Corey Stoll, Lucas Haas.
Yeah, I'm going to see that movie.
Patrick Fugit. My God, this movie is going to be on my top 10 list.
Nice.
Oh, also Claire Foy.
Oh, nice.
Yep. And John Bernthal.
Her Majesty.
John Bernthal is royalty.
Yeah. Would The Post be in your top 10?
Yes, but I don't know where.
Yeah.
Like, I think, honestly,
and what would you bump to put?
Exactly.
Yeah,
and I kind of think if we can manage it, because this June is going to be our 5th year anniversary podcasting.
Wow, yeah.
I kind of want us to revisit our top 10 lists.
Okay.
For the last 5 years.
All right.
And see what would fare on it. We'll talk about that closer to June.
Okay.
But yeah, anyway, that's The Post. I was floored by it. There's a really incredible scene. I don't want to give that away. That's a spoiler, but just a really, really great movie. And there is something that is so romantic about scenes in movies and TV shows that depict an active newsroom. Like All the President's Men, season 5 of The Wire, The Post, Spotlight, like those like settings that shows an active newsroom. Like when I went to 1 year of college, I went with the intention of going for journalism, and granted, I didn't get as deep into that as you know I would have liked because I only went there for 1 year, but that's something that just speaks to me. And oh my God, there's like scenes in The Post that shows like the printing press and print, like just seeing the newspaper. It's a very beautiful and romanticized look at frankly a kind of dying industry.
Right.
But it's very just beautiful, the imagery of it.
Yeah. And what's amazing about that imagery is that in all those examples you listed, those scenes and those moments are just dripping with integrity.
Yes.
Meaning everyone is risking life and limb and going above and beyond to not be wrong and to not fuck up a story.
Yep.
But that is completely contrary to what the public sentiment is at the moment.
Absolutely.
And that's really important to point out and to romanticize, as you just said. I agree with that.
Oh yeah.
Because I understand a little bit of the fervor at the moment, but I still very much am a champion of journalism, and especially investigative journalism. So yeah, I'm with you on that.
Absolutely. You understand the fervor? Do you think that the administration's right that it is all fake news?
No.
Okay.
No, but I can understand that like there's the
we don't have to get into this.
We
discussion.
don't, but I understand there is the art of journalism has changed a lot.
Oh yes, yes.
Especially in the internet age, it's very different. But there's still not no smoking gun to make me mistrust the media in general.
Right.
So, yeah.
Anyways. After I saw the movie, I turned to my friend who I saw it with, and I was just like, for a movie about the fake news, this was actually pretty good.
Nice. Yeah.
But yeah, it's just, for the record, fuck all that. We're a movie and TV podcast. Let's go.
Yeah, and like Donald Trump never lies about anything.
No, never. He's in perfect physical health.
Yeah, man. So here's this. So this is just blowing me away because I listen to NPR a lot, which is a highly integrity filled journalistic endeavor. I love NPR. It gets a lot of heat. I don't know why. Anyways, Donald Trump is 6'3", 239 pounds. Okay, I am barely taller than him. I'm like 3/4 of an inch taller than. I'm basically 6'4", which I didn't mean that to sound so pretentious. So I'm barely taller than that guy. He and I are pretty equally fat. I have 75 pounds on him.
See,
no fucking way that guy weighs 239 pounds.
He has a lot more of a gut than you do.
I don't know. I think I'm pretty chubby.
Yeah, but your frame, like you carry it well. Like he bulges out a little bit.
If I were like 3 inches taller than him, okay.
Yeah,
I'm like 315. That guy's 230. There's no way he's 239 pounds. And the fact that that's just barely under the threshold for obesity.
Yeah, I'm
like, okay, sure.
And that's just...
I do not buy that guy weighs 239 pounds. I'm like, being a wrestler for 7 years, I'm a pretty good judge of what people weigh. Not, again, I didn't mean that to sound so pretentious, but like I have experience sizing people up for their weight.
Right.
Like that's part of wrestling. That guy is not 239 pounds. There's no way. He's at least 260, 270.
Yeah. And it's...
which there's nothing wrong with being 260, 270 pounds. Yeah. It's just the fact that someone's spinning some bullshit here.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I
don't know if it's him directly. I don't know if it's his press secretary, if it's the naval doctor who, treated him and, or whatever. I don't know, but.
In the fact that this comes out, that this happens after this book comes out that reports that he spends his evenings eating cheeseburgers in bed.
Right.
At 6 p.m.
Yeah.
Watching TV. Like, no.
Right.
No.
Which I take that with a grain of salt. And like, I honestly don't necessarily question the fact that he's in good health because everybody's different. Everybody has weird metabolisms and the way their body processes that. He could be in very good health. I have no idea, but he's not 239 pounds. He's not.
James Gunn had a really great, first of all, James Gunn, I absolutely love the way that he is so open in social media. Like if you follow his Facebook page and stuff, he does very thorough, like he posts a lot. And like he's very active in the comment section. He doesn't have like anyone who runs his social media for him. It's all him. So he'll do like Q&As on Twitter and stuff. He's very active on. I respect the hell out of him for it. But
okay.
He posted something last night saying Trump's medical exam says he's 6'3" and 239 pounds. Technically obesity would be 240 pounds and over. Albert Pujols, the baseball player, is 6'3" and 240 pounds. If the dementia tests are equally accurate, we are doomed. In all truth, he said, in all truth, and this is what I love about it, he said, in all truth, I will give $100,000 to Trump's favorite charity if he steps on an accurate scale with an impartial medical professional okayed by us both.
That's hilarious.
And then he put hashtag Girther. And hashtag Girther movement. And then he put a picture of Albert Pujols next to Donald Trump to give the full effect.
Oh my gosh.
Like the scary thing is that, and we don't need to harp on this that much, but the scary thing is that we're living in a world where the governing body of our country is lying to us repeatedly about several things and like stating that they're like they're not lies, they're alternative facts. Like it is so fucking bizarre and scary and
and he tweets in the middle of the night.
Yes.
Like he's just doing rails off the White House bathroom tile and just pulling up his phone and tweeting. That's what it feels like.
It really does.
And he's like really smart.
Yeah. Wait, what?
Remember he tweeted that?
Yeah. Well, he's a stable genius.
He's a stable genius. I'm like really smart. Yeah. Anyways.
Anyway,
Tangent.
Yep.
Night of tangents.
Mm-hmm.
My last thing, really briefly, I watched Legally. Wow, I almost said Legally Blonde.
Wow, Tiny.
I've never seen that movie.
Legally Blonde?
Never seen it.
Really?
And I don't care to. Okay. Anyways, Atomic Blonde. Mm-hmm. Way different movie.
Which I've heard really good things about Atomic Blonde.
Okay, you will not hear more from me. I didn't really care for it very much. Right off the bat, I'll say that the action was pretty awesome.
Nice.
The fighting in particular. Towards the end, there's this incredible scene that takes place in a stairway, slightly reminiscent of Daredevil.
Okay.
There's that episode where he has a fight with a bunch of dudes in a stairway. Mm-hmm. Very similar to that. Really awesome. Very, very well done. Very cool.
Nice.
Charlize Theron is a freaking badass.
I've heard that she actually did all of her own stunts.
Yes.
Yeah.
And that's incredible. She's awesome. I still love James McAvoy, despite this movie, but it's, the plot was a freaking mess. I'm not really sure what was going on in this movie.
Really?
There's like double agent, triple agent shit that doesn't make any damn sense. There's a pretty big ripoff from Mission Impossible.
Oh.
Very contrived story. Everything about the story and the plot is very standard, crappy spy stuff. That's just not original, not interesting. John le Carre probably saw it and was like, what? I mean, it's just not, I was just very disappointed. I was kind of ready for it to end, after the big climax. I was like, okay, Paige watched it with me and she loves action movies. Mm-hmm. She looks for action movies more than I do. I mean,
nice.
I'm like, let's watch like a drama. She's like, no. And she was not, she was like, I can't wait for this to end. Like she almost wanted to like leave. Cause I was like, I didn't want to turn it off because I hate turning off movies, but,
yeah.
And I was like, I'm not going to do that. And she was like, ugh. And she just kind of powered through it and was on her phone through most of it. So yeah, I did not understand where this movie was going. The plot was so random and just, it didn't seem to make a lot of sense. I did not understand the motivations of James McAvoy's character whatsoever.
Really?
I have no idea. Still don't really understand what was going on with him.
Huh.
It was just a complete convoluted mess, as far as plot goes. But if you can sit through that, there's some pretty cool action, and some nice, really cool fighting scenes. Which that's enough for some people. It just wasn't enough for me in this. I really didn't like it.
Yeah. That's a
which
shame.
Sucks.
Yeah, that is a shame. And I talked about all my rentals that I have currently going. Like after I watch, like get that number down a little bit, that's gonna be my next thing that I rent since it's not available to stream anywhere.
Okay.
Because I'm very curious about it. I'm very curious what I'm gonna think about it. Because like I said, I've heard really good things. So
yeah.
It'll be interesting to compare notes after I see it.
Right. Somebody else may have had a completely different interpretation of it than I did, but I didn't really care for it at all.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'll go ahead and round us out. We're almost done, Tiny.
Okay.
Yeah. So I watched a movie called Dark Knight, which is not The Dark Knight.
Okay.
It is a 2016 kind of indie movie. It's I just deleted the plot description, but it's basically the lives of six people intersect in the lead up to a mass shooting at a movie theater.
Okay.
So it's a fictionalized account and everything, but it is basically okay. Do you remember the movie Elephant by Gus Van Sant?
Very well, yes.
Okay. So that is an incredible movie. It's kind of like Dark Knight is like the movie theater mass shooting version of that movie.
Okay, like the big budget version, sort of?
No. It is.
Oh, I see the setting.
Yeah.
Okay, I misunderstood you.
So Elephant, for those who don't know, it's Gus Van Sant made a movie in 2001, I think.
Somewhere around there.
Sometime after Columbine, that was essentially a slice of life movie that just followed a bunch of characters around in a high school on a day where there's a mass shooting that is patterned pretty similarly to the events of Columbine.
Really powerful movie.
Incredibly powerful.
Yeah.
and just really, really, really fantastic movie. Like that movie has stuck with me for over a decade since I've seen it.
Yeah.
Dark Knight is the version of that. It's like they were going for that, but instead of Columbine, it was the Dark Knight Rises shooting.
Mm-hmm.
And none of it worked for me.
Oh man.
It is kind of a chore to get through.
Okay.
So it's about, the plot description says 6 characters, but I can't name any of them. I can't tell you anything about any of them.
Okay.
That's not true. I can tell you about a couple of them. One is like kind of image obsessed amateur model, I think.
Okay.
But there are very, very long stretches of the movie where there's no dialogue or anything like that. It's all just like minutes, like 90 minutes or 90 seconds to 2 minutes worth of just following someone around or like moving around the camera, not doing any audio, not doing any dialogue or anything. And it's supposed to convey a certain atmosphere or a certain type of, I get the sense that it's supposed to make you feel like uneasy and nervous and fearful and everything, but I got none of that. Mm. Like, I shit you not. One of the sequences that I'm referring to is someone going through Google Maps, Street
God.
View. Like, it is the actual, like, it's a video, like it is us going through Google Maps Street View with a person, and it's like it's supposed to be like, oh, they're planning the shooting and everything, but it's like it's out of context for everything. Like, there's no context for anything.
Yeah.
And like, there was a character, like one of the first like characters is, which is baffling that this is what I think that this is what opens the movie, but there's a character that's being interviewed by a documentarian about I think he's an artist or something. No fucking idea why he's being interviewed. No idea why they made that one of the first shots of the movie, because it makes you think, oh, is this a mockumentary format? But it's not. It's just that one storyline is this guy being interviewed for a documentary or being interviewed by someone. No context whatsoever about that. Just a really, really frustrating movie that really, really, I really had to work to hold my attention on it. And by the end of it, it felt like it was just honestly a complete waste of time.
Damn.
And I say that, like, it's so rare that I would say that about a movie.
Yeah.
But the things that they were going for, I have no idea what they were going for, first of all. And where they went with them just did nothing for me. And the kind of final comment I'll make on that is that, so Elephant is the antithesis of that. Like, this Elephant is an incredible achievement, and it's a really great movie that expresses itself in very emotional ways, in a way that it reels you into it, and just it's like heart-poundingly like an incredible movie. Mm-hmm. And the great thing about that is it's not like it's Columbine the movie. It's not like one of the things that works so well about it is that it was made at a time where school shootings and mass shootings were, I mean, really just as prevalent as today, really. But, like, they're in the news all the time. And it's this kind of like guerrilla filmmaking, like, this could be you, this could be your loved ones in a school thing. With Dark Knight, there's one scene that's so bizarre to me, because they are showing some characters doing God knows what else, or what they're doing. But on the TV, they're talking about James Holmes and the Dark Knight Rises shooting, and it's like his trial. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, why call attention to that in this movie? Like, why are you doing this?
Again, too on the nose. Way
too on the nose. And it didn't work. And like, there's nothing at all to any of the characters, including the gunman character. And there's nothing. It's just a big pile of nothing.
Wow.
And just a waste of time. So I saw that on Netflix. It's not good. Don't watch it.
Wow.
Yeah. It's really. I was really disappointed.
All right.
Yep.
Thanks for saving us from that.
Yeah. Totally. So.
Because that sounds like something I would have been like, oh, interesting.
Yeah. Oh yeah. And I kind of thought it would have been interesting too, but yeah.
Nope.
So that'll do it for this episode of Obsessive Viewer.
Yep.
And Tiny. I know we're running a little late here, but I was thinking next week. Do you want to do a Netflix picks episode?
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I'll bring up my list. And do you want to just like switch phones and pick one?
Sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm really excited because we only did like one of those episodes last year. And it was also in like January.
Okay.
So one of my other goals is to hopefully do more things like this. I was also thinking like we could do like Netflix picks or an Amazon Prime equivalent of it. And do you know what I was thinking about calling it?
What?
Prime selections.
Okay.
So,
okay. Yeah. All right. There's my list. Okay, it's the very bottom one.
okay. And here's mine. I went to the liberty of going to the actual my list, so it's like it's all in a big thing.
Okay. All right, I have yours.
Okay. I might have yours. I might kind of want to go through mine and pick one for you. Cause like I was like cleaning up my list last night and I was interesting. Oh, I didn't even see this. Okay, cool. I got yours.
Okay.
But basically I was going through my list and I was like, oh, that'd be a good one for Tiny. Oh, that would be a good one for Tiny. Okay. I didn't even realize this one was on Netflix, but do you want to trade phone, like go to the selection on it and then switch phones?
Sure.
So we can see it.
Okay. Ready?
Yep. Okay. Oh, nice.
Okay, gotcha.
Nice.
All
okay,
right.
so Tiny picked for me The Place Beyond the Pines.
Yep.
Because he wants me to watch a 2.5 hour movie.
I didn't know it was that long. Shit.
It is.
Okay, sorry.
Yeah.
I haven't seen it like since it came out.
Oh, no,
so.
it's fine. It's a movie that I need to see.
Yeah.
Yeah. And Tiny, what did I pick for you?
They Call Us Monsters.
Yes, which I'm very curious what you're going to think of that, because I actually saw it at
Heartland, right?
Heartland, yeah.
Yeah. A couple years ago, maybe?
A couple years ago, which...
I remember you talking about it. That's why I added it.
Okay, nice. Because now that I said, I might actually call an audible if I can find a certain documentary on there. But I don't think it's on Netflix, so you might be in the clear. Yeah, it's not. Okay, that's fine.
Okay.
Yeah, They Call Us Monsters.
Okay.
Yeah, so that's what we'll be reviewing. They're both available on Netflix. We're going to be, Tiny's going to give his thoughts on, They Call Us Monsters. And I'm going to give my review of The Place Beyond the Pines by Derek, C. in France.
Yes.
Yep. So that's our homework for next week. Yeah. And once again, guys, if you want to support us, the easiest way to do that would be to go to iTunes and leave a rating and review. We did get a winner for the t-shirt contest. So Curtis, if you're listening, your shirt is actually shipped today, so it should be on its way.
Yay.
And, and then, we'll be back next week with our reviews for our Netflix picks, and also go to patreon.com/obsessiveviewer to become a patron, where you can get access to, special, Patreon exclusive commentary tracks that I record in my downtime. So having said all that, thank you guys so much for listening, and we'll see you next time.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks.
Thank you for listening to The Obsessive Viewer, presented by ObsessiveViewer.com. You can find more of our episodes at ovpodcast.com, and you can subscribe to the show on iTunes, Google Play, Stitcher, or anywhere else podcasts are found. If you'd like to support the show, the best and easiest way is to leave us a rating and a review on iTunes. More ratings and reviews means it'll be easier for people to find the show in the highly competitive film and TV podcast genre. It also provides us with valuable feedback on the show. If you'd like to donate to the podcast, you can make a one-time PayPal donation at obsessiveviewer.com/donate, or become a patron at patreon.com/obsessiveviewer for recurring donations with different reward tiers. Every donation goes toward paying the fees to keep the podcast running and is greatly appreciated. For official Obsessive Viewer merch, including shirts, mugs, notebooks, phone cases, and more, visit our TeePublic store. You can also buy other great TeePublic designs in our store, and we'll get a small commission on the sale. You can find a link to the store in the show notes of this episode and at obsessiveviewer.com/donate. The Obsessive Viewer's theme song is An Eclipse of Events and is provided by Loudlike from their EP Mistakes We Must Make. You can find that and more great music from them on iTunes and like their Facebook page at facebook.com/loudlikemusic. Any and all feedback on the podcast is encouraged. We love to hear from you guys. You can contact us by emailing podcast@obsessiveviewer.com or by tweeting us at obsessiveviewer, at obsessivetiny, and at IamMikeWhite. You can also like us on Facebook and join the Facebook group at facebook.com/theobsessiveviewer, where you can take part in discussions and polls between episodes. For more podcast content, check out Anthology, Matt's solo podcast, where he's reviewing The Twilight Zone as a first-time viewer and exploring other classic and contemporary science fiction anthology TV shows. You can find Anthology at anthologypod.com and anywhere podcasts are found. For book lovers, you can check out our sister site at obsessivebooknerd.com for book reviews, author spotlights, and a general celebration of reading. Finally, if you're philosophically curious, check out Tiny's side project podcast, The Secular Perspective, which explores the concepts of faith, religion, and existence from the perspective of secular hosts Chad and Amanda. You can find that at thesecularperspective.com and subscribe to the podcast on the app of your choice. Once again, thank you so much for listening, and we'll see you next time.